right?
And for me, I'd like a turkey sandwich.
Hold the mayo.
Hold that mayo.
Okay, who's going to count me down?
We'll give you cues over here, too.
Okay. Denzel, unless you count some of the so-called race films made by Oscar Micheaux back in the 40s and 50s, I think this is the first time we're seeing on film a portrait of a black middle class in the 40s in this country. Was that part of what attracted you to this material?
That's interesting. I haven't thought about that. What was Raisin in the Sun was a little later, huh?
That was
60s, 50s,
late 50s, early 60s.
Yeah, that was one of the things that attracted me to the project. You know, was we hadn't seen. I had thought about it more specifically. I didn't think about it as broadly as you did, but that's probably true. But I thought that there hasn't been a film that shows life in what we now call South Central LA in the 40s. I couldn't remember one. Mm-hmm. I think maybe there've been some that, like in New York, but again, not just middle class sort of neighborhood regular people.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But I mean, in terms of mainstream films, you know, in terms of images of black folks, you know, you've got slaves, then sharecroppers, then in the hood. There's nothing about an emerging middle class in the 30s and 40s, which I think, among many other reasons, this makes this movie unique.
Good. Can I say that? Can I use that?
You certainly may. You certainly
no,
may.
that's true, and hopefully people will be interested in that. You know, because it is a time. I mean, I really got into it as I did the research and started. Like I even went to Houston. I went to the, what is it, 3rd Ward or 5th Ward?
3rd Ward.
I think I went to the 3rd Ward. And I met guys who, first of all, I met guys who were kind of prominent in the neighborhood now. They introduced me to some of the old guys who used to run the show. And they talked about back in those days and how it was so different. And, you know, the common denominator I found is how people kept talking about how you could walk the streets, how you could leave your door open, how you could sleep with the window open, how you know, you could always help out a neighbor. I even remember when I was a kid, you know, if you got in trouble, somebody else's parent, you know, you might get a whipping from them, or one on the 2 or 3 on the way home before you got one when you got home. You know, they all work together. Now that'd be a lawsuit or somebody get murdered as a result of that. There was more trust in the neighborhood and interaction between neighbors and honesty, I think, and innocence.
Now, the word on the street in Houston in the theater district is that you may be doing something special at the Alley Theater in the next year or two?
I know absolutely nothing about that.
Okay.
What
There
they
was
say
a
I'll be
rumor.
doing?
There was a rumor going around that you were approached to do Othello at the Alley Theater.
I'm hearing it for the first time.
Oh.
Could be my agents know about it, but I don't. I've been asked to do Othello. I know with the National in London and a few other places. It could be I've been asked to do it there too, but it's a scoop.
Now, this is also the first time you get to play the classic figure of the private eye, even though he doesn't start out being a private eye. By the end of the film, he's you know, wanting to do this. Is that something else that attracted you to the project?
Interestingly enough, that's the most difficult thing about it, because he's not a private eye until he becomes one. But you know, you have a 40s movie, some might say noir, and all of that. You want to start, you know, doing a Bogart before it's your time. He's a guy who's he's an airplane mechanic who lost his job, who needs $100, who finds out by the end of the film, you know, looking for people is an easier way to get $100 than working on an airplane. So he becomes a private detective.
Finally, Halloween is coming up soon. Can you remember the first time in your life you saw a really scary movie?
The most frightened I've ever been in a film probably is The Exorcist. But growing up in the boys' club, I don't know why, they must have had a copy of the film. We watched Creature from the Black Lagoon. Seemed like every Saturday it was the same movie, The Creature from the Black Lagoon. I don't know if I was scared. Oh, I tell you a movie that scared me. The original version of The Thing. That one got me. When that ice started melting, you know, because you never get to see the thing for so long. You finally, like, where is he? And he finally, you know, I was throwing stuff at the TV trying to get him to jump up on the thing so he could get electrocuted. Remember that? Yeah, that movie got me.
Well, thank you very much and congratulations.
My pleasure. The Thing.
Oh, man. Oh.